Hi and welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa and I'm the Car Boot Crafter, and welcome back to my Christmas in July series. I hope you're enjoying it so far. It always seems a bit odd doing Christmas in July, but we'll roll with it. So today's project, and this is a mock-up that I've made. I always try and do a mock-up if I'm not sure my measurements are going to work out, and I'm glad I did because they were slightly off. So we'll make the proper one and I'll give you the full adjusted measurements. So this is a flip box, so really simple to make. The lid you just have to think about, but I'll show you that in a minute. And it's 4 inches, 4.5 inches long by just under 3.25 by 2.5 inches deep. So quite a nice size, and if you make homemade cookies, or if you're into making homemade sweets or things like that, or you've got something special, this is quite a nice size to make them for Christmas. So let me pop that to one side and I can give you all the measurements. Now I'm doing the lid in white card on this one, just until we get to the final part where we're putting it together, because I thought this one can be a little bit tricky if you don't know where you're going, and I wanted to make sure I was really clear on this part of the box. So what you need for your lid is a nice card that measures 8 1/4 by 8 1/8 deep. Okay, and then for your base card, which I'm going to use this side, you need a piece that's 8 inches by 9.5 inches. Nice and simple on the base card, but this one is 9 1/4 by 8 1/8. So let me grab my scoreboard and we can get started. So really simple on the base card, the bottom of the box. Pop it in your scoreboard, and we're going to score all the way around at 2.5 inches. Really simple. And this bit is like any other box that you're putting together. So let's pop that out the way for a moment while we bring this in. So like you do with any other box that you're making, we're going to debulk these corners and make some tabs. So slice down from the edge just to your first score, and it doesn't matter whether I come in this way or this way at this stage. So I've sliced down to the first score. I'm then going to take off just over half of that away. So I'm just chopping that off. That's no good now, that can go in the bin. And then this is going to be my tab. So I'm just going to angle in like that, and what I've done is I've debulked it so that when I use this to glue my box, I haven't got lots and lots of waste. In fact, I'm going to take that down a little bit more. So I've got about an inch there, and I know that's a bit on the wonk, but that doesn't matter because it won't be seen. So, and then I'm going to come across to this one and do exactly the same. So I've got my score line. I can just about see it in this light. So I'm cutting to this side because I want to cut that score line away. So I'm going to come in again. This time I've come an inch away from this score line, and I'm just going to angle those corners in like that so that we've made a tab there. I'm just going to pop everything over there for a moment. So that's one end done. I'm coming up to this end and I'll do this end. I think the pollen's a little bit high today, so it's affecting my hay fever. And this time of year, I get a bit of a cough with it. So I do apologise for coughing in advance. Right, there we go. Again, I'm on the wonk, but it doesn't matter because that will all be hidden away. Last one. And again, I'm coming this side because I want to get rid of that score line. So I'm coming all the way down to the score line that goes across there. And then I'm coming to the side and I'm cutting away about 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to tab that in like that. Very simple little box to start off with. I'm sure you'll have done these before. Then grab your score tool, and all we're going to do is fold and burnish. Now I want the green on the outside, so just make sure when you're burnishing you've got your pattern on the your work surface, so that when you build it up you've got the right side. How do I know these things? Maybe I've done it the wrong way before. I can tell you I've used a lot of paper getting this this little project and all the measurements done right. Okay, so there we go. So those are all now being folded and burnished. So grabbing my glue, I'm just going to make sure my glue's at the bottom of the nib and glue that down. So what I like to do is do one end at a time, so I'm going to do both of these. So popping that glue down on both of those. Let's fill that middle bit in, bring that up, and what we want to do is that crease there to line up with that cut end there. So just bring it up, it naturally wants to do it, and then just hold that in place, so we've got a nice smooth corner there. So while I'm holding it, get your bone folder in and just push that glue into the card like that, so you get a wonky corner. If it does, that's the great thing with tacky glue like this, you can just open it up before it grabs too much and redo it like that. So once I've done that side, I can do this side as well. And make sure that's a nice clean line on there. And again, come in with your bone folder. Try not to be too heavy-handed pushing things around like I did with the first one. There we go. And we've got a nice seal both sides on there. And I'm going to do the same at this end. So let's pop some glue on there. I need to have a little something that I can stand my glue upside down in, and it holds it, because otherwise if you stand it up like that, all your glue rushes to the bottom of your little glue tub. I'm going to lie it down, that might help a little bit, and do exactly the same this side. Line up that edge with that score, that crease mark on both sides like that. Get your fingers in behind, line that up. And I know I'm teaching grandma to suck eggs here, because I'm sure that you will have done this loads of times, but in case there's anyone that's new to crafting, there you go. So we've now got a little base box. That's brilliant. I can pop that to one side and not worry about that while it's drying. And I'm going to bring this one in. I'll bring the scoreboard back in, and I shall get rid of all this rubbish out the way. Right, now with this one you have to stop and think first. So this is my 8 1/4 side. They're very similar because there is only 1/8 of an inch in it, but it makes a big difference. So make sure you've got your 8 1/4 side at the top, and the first score line you're going to make is 1 1/4. So 1 1/4. There you go, and that's your first score line. Then turn it onto all the other 3 sides and score at 2 1/2, like that. 2 1/2. And what I'm going to do, I think, just to make it easier for you to see, is I am bringing in my pen. So the first one, butt that side up, make sure it's 8 1/4, and then score at 1 1/4 like that. Then turn round onto the other 3 sides and score at 2 1/2. Ignore that one across the middle. That is not a score line, but the others are. Okay, once you've done that, ignore this line. Once you've done that, grab your scissors, and what you want to do is, so this is the 2-inch score, this is the 1 1/4 score. So we're going to ignore that end for a minute and work on these corners here. So that's 2 1/2, that's 2 1/2, and that was 2 1/2 when we scored it. So what we want to do is cut to this side of the score line, so the middle side of the score line, just cut down on both sides like that. So you've got that cut there. Do the same with this one, and with this one we're going to cut on this side because we're cutting the score line away. So cut all the way down till you meet that score line that goes across. Okay, we're going to debulk this corner again, so I'm just coming in about 1 1/4 or 1 1/8, whatever is comfortable for you, and just chop those corners off. So we're debulking them so that it just makes things a lot easier for us when we're gluing things together. Right, so these are going to be our tabs. So we want to come in both sides and just, again, taking away some of that bulk. It'll help us with the gluing later on. So we've taken all of that out like that. Okay. Now, while we're at this end, we're going to come back in with our scissors and just cut a tiny slither off there again. Just a tiny little bit. It doesn't have to, it's not, we're not taking tons out. It just, when we glue our box together, it makes it much more cleaner where we're gluing. And that is all I've glued away. Cut away, sorry, just a thin slither like that, and we're going to do that on both sides. And if we didn't do that, what we end up is that this ever so slightly overlaps the base box. Okay, so we've done this end. Okay, so we're going to turn it round to this 1 1/4 end. And what we're going to do is we're going to come in on the widest side and cut down. And again, we're getting rid of that score mark. So I'm cutting just to this side of that score mark. Turn it and come 1 inch away from this edge or thereabouts and cut that off. And again, create some tabs there. And this also debulks it, makes it so much easier when we glue it. So come in again, and again I'm cutting this side of the score line. Cut that away, and then come in. This side is a little bit bigger, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because that's going to be hidden away. Okay, so we've got that done. That's where we've got to so far. Next thing we're going to do, and I'll pop my scoreboard away, is I'm going to bring my ruler in and a pen. And if you are doing this on patterned paper, do it on the bottom. So if this was the pattern side, I'd do it on this side. Okay, I'll do it on this side so you can see. So this is my score line. So there's my 2 1/2 inches score line, and I'm going to measure from the score line 1 1/4 inch, and I'm going to make a dot just on the edge of the card like that. I'm going to do the same on this side. So line that up with this score line and measure 1 1/4 inches and make a dot there. And then, now this depends, I'm going to draw this in for you so you can see. but if you are confident, then you can do this by eye, or you can pop it in your trimmer, or you can just, like me, draw it on like that, then bring your scissors in and just cut away that corner like that, and the same on this side. Like that. Oh, I've gone a little bit wonky there. Oh, it doesn't matter because this isn't the one I'm going to use, but just make sure on yours that it's nice and straight there. And this is what gives it that shape with your lid. Okay, and that is the shape you're looking for. And if I bring in the patterned card that I'm going to use, that is the same. Okay, so this is the pattern card I'm going to use. Okay, right, now grab your bone folder and again fold and burnish on all of those crease marks. This is also the point where if you wanted to do some fancy edges, to do it now before you start gluing, because otherwise it's too late. So what you can do if you wanted, so that's our edge. You could, if you've got a nice punch all the way down there and have a nice fancy edge and across there and that side, and that will give you a nice fancy edge for your box. But I'm going to keep this nice and plain and simple, and I'll decorate it up afterwards. So I'm going to get my glue, and I want this side up. I want this side to go with my green pattern. So I'm going to do these ends first, because these are the ends that have the little bit of pressure on them. So just those tabs that we created earlier. So that's these two, that one and that one. And then bring that round and glue that to that bit. And because we measured 1 1/4 and we'd scored at 1 1/4, that should fit beautifully like that. So lay that down again, get your bone folder in, let's turn it so you can see, bone folder in and push the glue into there. Then do the same at this end, line that up so you've got a nice sharp edge there. Pop it down on your surface and use your bone folder to just reinforce that. Okay, so now we've got, you can see where it's heading. So I'm going to do the same with these. No, I'm not. Why have I tagged those? Because I don't need to, do I? It will stop. Ignore that. Just get rid of those corners. I don't know why I've done that. So just cut those off. If you're crafting along with me, then I am really sorry. I've apologised. You don't need to do these. Got carried away with doing tons and tons of tags. Oh, and now because I've been messing, I've messed up that front. So let me just adjust that and give that a minute to glue. So almost done, not a lot more to finish. So there we go, and that ends like that. So we've got our nice edges. Pop it onto your box like that, and I always find it best to do it this way. And then what we're going to do is put glue on that flap at the back of our box, so this flap here. Pop that on there. Make sure that's all nice and snug. Pop your glue on and make sure you get all of those edges. Don't go too close to that crease mark, but just make sure it doesn't ooze underneath, otherwise you might end up gluing everything. So I don't know why my glue isn't coming out now. Right, all the way round, some in the middle, like that, and fold that over like that, so you've got a nice clean top, and then use your bone folder just to push that into your card. So that's on there, then flip it open like that, and you can then get in and do the same inside like that. Pop it on. In fact, I'm going to use this one just to make sure I can get into all of those edges like that. Make sure you get those corners and along those edges, and there you have your cute little flip lid box. So decorate it up, and I will do that shortly. Let's just pop that all rubbish all away. But that is your basic little box. What you can do is you can add a little catch here if you want to, a little Velcro dot, or even put some magnets inside, so that when you close it over, so one on this end and one inside here, so when you close it over it snaps shut. You could even put a little piece of elastic on there with a brad or something just to hold it closed, but I like it like that. And what I'm going to do is put a big ribbon around it as well, just to finish it off after I finish decorating the top. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you like that little box, not just for Christmas, for any time of year you want to, but I think these make super little small Christmas gifts. And I've got a very special gift for my one daughter, a nice watch, but don't tell her, shh, that will go in there for her birthday. And I'm going to do it out of some nice patterned paper. So there we go. That is my little flip box with all the measurements, which will be in the description box below. Put a comment in the comments box. Let me know what you think, if you're going to have a go at it, or whether you think there's an easier way of doing it. I'd love to know. But all the measurements are there. Do let me know if you have a go, and I'll speak to you all in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.